The task ahead is too formidable for any single individual or institution. We have to realize that every one of us has a role, and indeed an important role, to play. Private sector, public sector, non-governmental organizations, academic and religious bodies, multinational development agencies, etc., have all to work together in this endeavor. In this joint endeavor, the way in which we govern ourselves is most important. Most important than winning election is governing the nation. That is the test of a political party. The final acid test, said Adlai Stevenson about 50 years ago. That being the case, the conduct of elections should contribute to good governance. Parliament, Edmund Burke said, is not a congress of ambassadors from different and hostile interests, which interests each must maintain as an agent and advocate against other agents and advocates. But Parliament is a deliberative assembly of one nation with one interest, that of the whole, where not local purposes, not local prejudices ought to guide, but the general good resulting from the general reason of the whole. You choose a member indeed, but when you have chosen him, he is not member of Bristol, he is member of Parliament. So the quality of elected representatives can improve only if people take active interest in the rule of law, people take active interest in the governance by the government. Of late, a few bad elements have crept into our country, like the criminalization of politics, money power in politics, regulating the functioning of the political parties being not adequate, inadequate representation of women, and lack of voter participation and voter awareness. The Election Commission has been periodically writing to the government and spreading the message to the people of India that your duty does not stop with mere casting your vote. Even that is not widely done. In our country, only 60% of the people vote. And I must tell you, you being the youth of this country, you have to realize if you do not vote, you have no right to criticize. You have to actively participate, exercise, choose the right representatives. One of the most important role you can play, because it is your future which is going to be decided. Most of us, at least I have crossed 60, and many of us have crossed 60. Your stakes are probably more than the stakes that we have. And I believe that, unfortunately, the older generation has not done adequately to strengthening democracy in this country. Although we have had great men and women voicing the concern of the people, but I think time has come when the youth have to take very serious note of the adverse developments. What can the youth do? I'll come to that now. The first thing I would like you to bear in mind is the fact that you have to get out of fear. You have to get out of frustration. You have to get out of failures. Success means freedom from worries, fears, and frustrations. Success means self-respect and happiness. It is often said that faith can move mountains. If you have the will, you can move even a mountain, because you can achieve success by believing you can succeed. Swami Vivekananda, I think in most of his lectures, has been stressing this aspect that you have to conquer fear. There is nothing to be afraid of. Belief in great results is the driving force in every activity of yours, in your career. Belief in success is the most important ingredient behind every successful career or business. I would like to invite your attention to a famous statement made by David Schwartz in his book called The Magic of Thinking Big. Over the years, I have talked with many people who have failed in business ventures and in various careers. I have heard a lot of reasons and excuses for failure. Something especially significant unfolds as conversations with failures develop. In a casual sort of way, the failure drops a remark like, "To tell the truth, I didn't think it would work," or "I had my misgivings before I even started out," or "Actually, I wasn't too surprised that it didn't work out." The "okay, I will give it a try, but I don't think it will work" attitude is not adequate. It does produce failures. Disbelief is a negative power. When the mind disbelieves or doubts, the mind attracts reasons to support the disbelief and failures. Doubt, disbelief, the subconscious will to fail, the not really wanting to succeed, is responsible for most failures. Belief is therefore the thermostat that regulates the active life of any human being. If one believes he is worth little, he receives little. If one believes that he can do big things, he can. A person who has faith and confidence in himself, he receives much. Everything he does, such as the way he deals with the people, he smiles, his thoughts, his viewpoints, all automatically make him a smart professional. Ultimately, the thoughts you entertain, whether at home or at office, will very much matter in shaping your life. Indeed, you yourself, a thought factory, producing countless thoughts every day. You have therefore to acquire and strengthen the power of belief in yourself. You ought to impress upon your mind that successful people are just ordinary human beings who have developed faith in themselves and their ability to perform all the time. You have to think success before you start any activity. Remind yourself regularly that you are better than when you think of yourselves. In this effort, always think big. Now, I want to apply this advice to our own democratic structure. You have to think that this country can go forward, can probably do much better than any nation, because, as I mentioned, the kind of rich legacy that you have, no other country in the world has it. Some of our scriptures tell us the basic things, fundamental things that you have to observe in life. And if you are able to think in those lines, imbibe the teachings of the great men that have lived in this country, great men and women that have lived in this country, you can not only contribute to your personal progress, but to the progress of the whole nation and the world.